Hey everyone, and welcome to the Literary Art Society of West Jordan. We are going to have a series of videos through November. My videos are going to be about National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo as it's known to those who love to hate it or hate to love it. I don't know. NaNoWriMo is an international challenge to write a 50,000 word novel in just 1 month. If you do the math, that's a little over 1,600 words a day for 30 days. So it started on November 1st, and you might think, it's already November 2nd. How can I even stand a chance to dive in now? But I promise you it's not too late. So here are 4 steps to diving into NaNoWriMo, even if you haven't had any prep and you feel like you're not ready. Okay, so here we go. Number 1, what are you going to write about? That seems pretty kind of self-explanatory, but if you haven't prepared and you haven't thought about it, you might not know. So that's obviously the first thing you need to do. And if you watched my class on how to get story ideas earlier this year, then you have a leg up. So real quick, you can basically find a story in any place at any time. You could look up some articles by, oh my gosh, Ray Bradbury. He was really big on this because he personally challenged himself to write a new story every week. So, and he literally found inspiration from his sleeping wife, from his hands on the keyboard, to the coffee cup beside him. Anything can be a jumping off point. So number 1 is to figure out what you're going to write about. Number 2 is figure out your story bones. And by this, I mean, I call it story bones, but maybe in this moment, it's better to think of it as a roadmap. So know where you're going to start and know where you're going to end. Because in this case, where you're going and you need to accomplish quite a lot in just 30 days, you'll avoid a lot of heartache and a lot of writer's block during this next month if you know where you're going. So those are the first 2 points or story bones you need, is the beginning and the end. If you want to add more bones to your story or structure, so that because every bone you add to your story body, the more structure you'll have, the less likely you're going to be to fall by the wayside, lose your way, and have all of your bones collapse, right? So I'm totally mixing metaphors. I'm talking roadmap and skeletons and who knows what. I've got Halloween on the brain or something. So if you know what the big thing is that you're going to that's going to really set your story in motion, that would be the thing that your story is about. That's your catalyst. So you could add that bone to your story, because then you're driving your setup toward this catalyst, and then from there you're heading toward the end. Well, so that would be great if you can add even more bones, like what is your midpoint? At what point do all the time clocks start, and is the bomb about to go off and everything in the very middle of your story? If you know what that is, then you can add that bone. Every bit will help solidify your story in your head so that you can write without getting stuck and having to spend some time to think. So it's kind of my advice that you do these 4 steps that I'm giving you today, And if you have no other time for writing, let that be okay. Because the more you can do these 4 steps, the less likely you're going to run into trouble. Okay, so number 1 was know what your story is about. Number 2 is to set up as many story bones as you can in advance of writing. Okay, number 3 is who are the characters in your story? If you can even just write out your basic cast in advance, and I'm not talking major character sheets or anything like that. I'm talking main character, what's their name? Side character, what's their name? And any tertiary characters that you might have. For instance, I'm going to write a romance, which is not my normal thing to do, but it's NaNoWriMo, so it's kind of a chance to just write the thing that you've been thinking about that doesn't really lie within your catalog. At least that's what I'm going to do. So there aren't that many characters that I expect to have. But if I have some names and genders and basic ideas of who's in the story, when I'm writing and I come to the point where we're now going to meet the person who runs the local grocery store or whatever, I don't have to stop and think. I just can grab it from my list because this is what I know or who I know is going to be there. I will challenge you to put in a little bit of thought into your main character and your antagonist. If you can figure out what your main character wants, what their goal is, or how they're going to go about getting their want, and what their need is, which is usually different from what they want, but it's the thing they really need in order to be happy, to be healthy, to be acknowledged or recognized, or to gain their powers or whatever. If you can figure out those 3 things, what they want, what their goal is, and what they need, and also do that for your antagonist, that would be super great, because then again, every little bit that you do beforehand is going to help you plow on through without stopping. And your 4th and final thing to nailing NaNoWriMo, even though you didn't decide in advance to do it, is to have a plan. So I said at the beginning that to write 50,000 words a month, it averages to a little over 1,600 words per day. But maybe you're not a daily writer. Maybe you know that your work days exhaust you, you get home, you have family to take care of, and you're going to be too tired at 9 or 10 o'clock when you finally have some free time to write. So free yourself of the expectation that you'll write every day, and instead promise or make the plan to write, how many words would that be? Like 7,000, what would it equal? It would come, I don't know, 7,000 or 8,000 or something per weekend day, per Saturday and per Sunday. Same as if you know that you're going to be really involved with Thanksgiving and you're not going to be able to write on those days, make a plan. I like to write most days. I don't write Sundays. So I typically like to write about 2,000 words per 6 days and allow myself Sunday off. Some days I'll write more and some days I'll write less. I also know, though, that if I come toward the end of the month and I haven't, my current routine isn't going to help me reach my goal, I know I'm capable of writing 3,000 or 4,000 words. So I'll plan on writing 2,000 words per 6 days and then make up whatever differences or whatever I lack at the end of the month. You may be different. You may feel that you can commit to writing 1,000 words a day, but 1,600 words feels scary. So commit to writing 1,000 words a day. Then maybe on the weekends, when you have a little bit more time and a little more head space, You can strive for 2,000 words on those days. Anyways, if you have a plan that's your plan and not what anyone else is doing, if it's your plan, you're more likely to stick to it, rather than if you've never written every day before, then maybe a daily goal is not right for you. And so you might want to look at your normal routine and kind of figure out what works for you. However, maybe you're looking for this to challenge you and to kickstart a daily writing habit. It can be great for that. So know what you are going to expect of yourself and stick to that and trust your own self to get it right, to do it in the way that's going to work best for you. So quick recap. Number 1 is to know what you're writing about. Number 2 is to put in as many story bones as you can beforehand, or at least your beginning and ending. Number 3 is to know your characters, primarily your protagonist and your antagonist. That's your main character and your villain. And if you can, give them a want, a goal, and a need. And finally, find a schedule and plan a routine that works best for you. I do recommend that you do make a plan, because if you just tell yourself, I'm going to write as much as I can and hope I hit the 50,000 word mark, you're less likely to do it. It's just human nature. We do respond to goals, even if we don't like them. Don't let it stress you too much, but having a plan and having a goal is going to encourage you, even subconsciously, to reach for that goal. Okay, so that's it. You don't have time to listen to videos. You've got to get to writing. So happy writing. And I've got the links in the comments below for NaNoWriMo so that you can join in on the fun and learn more about it. And I hope to hear wonderful achievements from you. If you're participating in NaNoWriMo, leave us a comment. Let us know that you're participating. We would love to cheer you on. Thanks and happy writing, everybody.